did I say?
I know.
Huh?
I know.
What did I say?
I know.
Any 6-year-old knows you don't go move in a graveyard.
Well, it's out of the bag now, so...
You know, they don't make a fan big enough that's going to fly over this. They better stand back and cover up. But wait, why repeat myself? Why go over and over it?
Let me introduce you.
Who's this now? Who's this?
She's from the Mental Health Resource Association. Her name is Lillian. She says she met you a couple of years ago.
Jeez, I have no memory of that whatsoever. Lillian, isn't it?
That's right.
Right.
Hi.
Dr. Vinci.
Hi.
Okay, let me just start straight out by saying that I think the coroner service has made a big mistake on this one.
Uh-huh. Thank you for admitting it.
Okay, how many people are buried here?
2,200 in total on the grounds. 450 in the area we're removing.
How many dug up so far?
60. Some of them are just numbers, but we managed to identify most of those.
Yeah.
However, these here are going to be a challenge.
Some of them missing headstones? Some of the graves?
Not some, a lot.
A lot of them?
But that's not the problem. The problem here is commingling.
Oh, okay, I see. I take it you didn't expect to find 2 of them in there.
No.
All right, let me get a shot of this here. A couple of shots. Get a record of this. Who's recorded as being buried in this place here?
David Furness.
Furness, okay. Right. Okay, here's an image. Do you see a flash?
No, I haven't seen
He
it.
would have been how old?
Well, at the time of, he entered the institution in 1956 at 13, and he was buried in 1972. So he was 29.
Okay. He was a mental patient the whole time, was he?
Yeah.
Okay, so adult male? Any dental records, anything like that?
There should be. Can't
Okay.
promise.
Should be.
So, any reason you can think 2 people would be buried together like this?
No.
You should just let them rest in peace, you know.
Amen.
Sacred ground.
Amen to that, too. Now, this woman at the top of the hill up here, who is she?
She used to be a patient here. She keeps coming back.
You're gonna want to get into your suits. It's a mess, okay?
Who's this?
It's the husband, George Brooks. He called it in.
What's inside?
2 dead in the bedroom, this guy's wife and another guy.
Looks like he's got a little blood on his clothes there.
Yeah, he fought with the guy, then he tried to help his wife, tried to stop the bleeding.
Get the suits.
Really? So we're gonna have to bag up his clothes there for evidence, so, get him out of those, have ident, take a couple photos, and get swabs of the blood he's got all over him. And then, I guess, find him something else to wear.
Okay, we'll take a look inside, then we're going to want to talk to him, right?
Okay.
Husband came up from the basement.
Yeah, he says he was working down there, and he hears his wife screaming. So he comes rushing up the stairs here, and then he hits the hallway here, and the first thing he sees is that right there.
Anybody move anything in here?
Not since we arrived. Nothing's been touched, no.
We got a knife here.
What do you say happened?
Well, the husband comes upstairs here, and he sees a guy dragging his wife into the bedroom. That's the wife.
Got a hammer over there.
Uh-huh. That's the husband's. He brought it upstairs with him.
Any idea who the guy is?
Well, the husband says he thinks he might have seen him before somewhere, but he doesn't know who he is.
Did you check him for ID?
Well, we thought it best not to touch anything until you guys showed up.
So anybody been in here yet, or what?
I came in. I checked for signs of life, and then I backed right out, took the husband outside, and called it in.
All right, let me get this right. The husband, he hears the screaming from the basement, comes upstairs, sees the guy attacking his wife, and then takes him out.
That's what he says.
Got the hammer there.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
All right, better get ident in here.
Any sign of anybody breaking in or anything like that?
Nothing we can see.
As far as I know, the institution buried them in a suit. They had one. If not, something. Not naked, anyway.
Not naked.
No.
Well, the man in the suit, that's consistent with somebody laid out for burial, but the roommate here, see the way the legs, the knee joints are all tucked in underneath there?
Yeah, I do.
And same with the arms. They're all, well, anyway, I can tell you that's for sure. This is wrong. Okay, we know that for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these bones down to the morgue, and here's my card. I'd like you to put together a list for me of all the people that are supposed to be buried here in this area and get that list in my office, okay, as soon as possible.
I'm pretty sure we do have some dental records, you know, some hospital records, a few charts that have survived in some of the patient files.
So you're pretty sure of something?
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure. Okay, well, maybe we can figure it all out then, right?
So thanks for helping me out.
Hey, no problems. Okay, let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Okay, then? You listen?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Care for a smoke? Maybe it's a little tough, but I'll start asking you some questions. You, when you first heard the screaming, you were in the basement, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. I was on the saw, cutting a piece of mahogany for a cabinet I'm making her.
Right. And you heard nothing else before that? Nobody knocking at the door, nothing like that?
Well, they might have, but I didn't hear it. I had the saw on.
You had the saw on and you heard the scream? So you heard the scream over the sound of the saw?
I wear earphones, those protective earphones. I took off the earphones and heard her.
Okay.
So your wife was what? She was like screaming, calling out for you?
Yes, for help. She was screaming for me to help her.
She was calling out your name?
Yes.
So she knew you were in the basement working there?
Yeah.
About what time would that have been?
Around 9, I think.
9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
How long have you been married?
22 years.
I'm very sorry. This is a real terrible thing to have happened.
Yeah, it's awful. One of the officers mentioned to us that you may have known the man who attacked your wife. Is that right?
No, I don't know him. I think maybe I saw him around.
Do you remember where? It'd be a big help to us if you could help place this guy.
I don't know if I know him. I just had the sense that he seemed somehow familiar to me.
Any idea if it was around the neighborhood? Was it recently? What?
Oh, I'm sorry. He had a smell. You know, the smell of somebody that hasn't been clean for a long time.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue to take a look around. We'd appreciate it if you'd stay here. The officer there will answer any questions you might have and get you anything you need. If you need a drink or you want to make a phone call or anything like that, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Something bothered you about his story, I can tell.
Little thing.
What?
Well, he says he's working on the saw. He's got those earphones on, and he stops doing that, and then he hears the scream.
Yeah.
He says he's working on the saw. He's making a cabinet for her out of mahogany.
Okay.
Mahogany, who gives it what it's made of? For that matter, what he's working on. I mean, that'd be the last thing in your mind at a moment like that.
Right, maybe.
I think he's given us this little piece of detail because he's gone over his story in his head. You know, cutting a piece of mahogany to build her a cabinet.
He's rehearsed it.
Yeah, rehearsed it. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, could be. Maybe it's just him in shock. You know, here I am down in the basement building something nice for my wife. Meanwhile, she's upstairs being attacked, and I wasn't able to go and save her. He's just balancing out the old survivor guilt thing.
I get you. Survivor guilt.
Right, he's trying to explain why she's dead and he's still alive. He was downstairs and couldn't get upstairs.
Well, I was just listening, and mahogany jumped out at me wrong. Sounds wrong to me.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to do? We're going to be here for a while. You want to keep him around and question him, or you want to send him downtown?
Now, let's keep him here. I might have a lot of questions I want to ask him. Be good to have him handy.
All right. Let's stick a good constable on him.
I told him to come down. He was a little pissy about it. You want to meet him?
No, I don't need that. Let me know what you think.
Hey,
Hi. This is Detective Cosmo, Professor Schultz.
thanks for coming down.
Sure.
Let's talk outside. So you teach sociology.
That's right.
Interesting. Yeah, I took a couple of courses when I was in Montreal.
My wife's funeral was a week ago, so I'm a bit puzzled why you're taking an interest now.
Oh, yeah, we see it just came to our attention.
Who brought it to your attention?
We get death certificates sent over on a routine basis to the coroner's office, and they noted there wasn't an autopsy performed, so it's routine.
It's not even your jurisdiction.
Well, actually, I think it is. I mean, it's listed as an accident, but if we want to investigate, we can do that.
Was it the Swiss who asked you to investigate?
Well, they're cooperating. Listen, do you mind answering a couple of questions?
Go ahead.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the trail that you and your wife were on.
It was an easy trail, a gradual climb.
Okay, so you're walking on this trail. Are you talking to each other? Are you taking pictures? What?
I just turned around and she wasn't there. I thought she's okay. She didn't fall that far. Later, I was told it was almost 200 meters.
Okay, and you're both experienced hikers.
Well, experience, I don't know. We'd go hiking together, that's all about it.
And she had no problems with heights or anything like that?
I told you that.
Was she afraid of heights?
You'd have to know my wife. If she was afraid of something, it was all the more reason for her to do it.
Now, you have a grad student, Linda Billhart.
Yes.
Could you tell me the nature of your relationship with her?
I find all this thing offensive. If you have any more questions, you can talk to my lawyer.
Have him give me a call.
Why would somebody break into a house where they could hear a saw running in the basement?
Some guys like to break in when there's people home. There's a better chance of money being in the house, right? So the guy hears the saw from the street here. Comes up, tries the front door. It's open. He comes in, sees her. She surprises him. He panics.
Yeah, but why this house? Why this morning?
I heard him saying he's seen him around. Maybe he's been watching the place today. He figures the time's right.
Yeah. Maybe one of the neighbors will recognize him.
Maybe. How we doing, Chick?
Oh, well, you got something to do. You should go do it.
How about ID? You got any?
Yeah. Here you go. Some small bills, some change, and the usual. It's all in there.
You know we're going to need another pathologist, yeah?
Well, go and see the big man about that.
Is Patricia going to be available part-time or what?
No, I asked her. She says that she's going to be teaching. She's burned out.
Yeah, my point. I need some help.
We're looking, okay? That's what I'm told. Oh, I got a problem now. The families want the fire victims' remains released. Can I have them?
Oh, I've done the children. Nothing jumps out. I'm waiting on talks, and I haven't done the mother yet.
So, no. So, I'll tell the lawyer we're doing procedures still, and I'll blame it on the lab.
We're short-handed. You're going to be repeating that excuse more than a few times until we get some help.
Go see the boss on the way out. Because he's in there.
You hear it?
Yeah, it was loud.
And you can see in here from the window there?
Yeah, the guy could have heard the saw, then came up to the side window here, peeked through, and then gone up to check the door in the front, see if it was open.
That's teak, not mahogany.
Really? No, I don't know the difference.
The guy said mahogany. That's teak.
Got the detail wrong.
Yeah, either that or it is mahogany. I used to know the difference.
All right, so the guy's creeping around the yard. Here's the saw, decides to take a peek through the window.
Okay. Well, I'll take a look around. I don't see any footprints in the dirt here, do you?
No, I sure don't. Maybe he doesn't have to look through the window. Maybe he's been watching the place, right?
Okay.
You can hear the saw from the sidewalk. You can hear the saw from the alley, from everywhere. So maybe the guy figures as long as he continues to hear the saw, he's safe to come up and try the front door.
Hear that?
Yeah, that's the chime for the alarm.
Chime goes off every time you open or close the door,
That's right.
even when the alarm's off.
No. So the wife hears the chime. She comes into the hall from where?
Well, somewhere close by where she could hear it over the sound of the saw in the basement. I don't know. The bedroom, kitchen, maybe?
So it's the sound. It's the chime that draws her to the door.
Yeah. Then as soon as she sees the guy, she's going to start screaming for her husband, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe.
And then she's going to get down to the basement where he is, right?
But he's quick. He's too quick and he's on her.
What do you got for us, Chick?
Well, I think I've got a scenario worked out.
Yeah, go.
Now, the blood pattern indicates it's probably from an arterial wound, most likely from that knife there.
There's gonna be blood on the assailant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what happens next?
Well, he grabs her like this, and he stabs her probably with a downward motion like this, The blood spatters on either side of him on the wall there. On this wall, you got cast-off pattern from when the attacker pulls out the knife.
No, this pool of blood here?
Well, she goes down then, and most of the bloodletting happens right there on the carpet, but we know she's not dead at this point because somehow she manages to crawl over to the bed.
Okay, so he comes through the front door, she hears the sound of the chimes or whatever. He gets into the hallway, they see each other, she turns to flee, he comes after her, grabs her from behind. Something like that, right?
Yeah, well, the pattern supports a couple of possibilities, but more or less you're right.
Well, we know they came in either through the front door, which we know was unlocked, or from up out of the basement there.
I don't know where the person came from, the basement or the front door, I don't know. Look over here. And this guy here, take a look at the front of him. Some of the blood there looks arterial. And some of it's hers from the initial attack. Some's probably from his own wounds from the hammer blows.
Yeah, there was a lot of blood on the husband's shirt, too. Did you get a look at that?
Yeah, I did. It's all smeared. It'll be up to the lab to determine whose blood is whose.
What do you think happened when the husband came in here?
Well, it looks like he hit this guy a couple of times on the top of the skull with a hammer.
Killed him straight away.
Yeah, shattered his skull, penetrated the brain. Yeah, pretty much instant.
So what do you figure, Chick, then? All in all, the husband's story makes sense with everything you're seeing here?
Well, I'll have a better idea when I get him back to the morgue, get a closer look, and get the lab work back. But, yeah, his story fits.
I can't read the fine print on there. What does that say there, the manufacturer?
Made in Germany.
Hey, that's an expensive knife.
Yeah, it is. It looks like a good one.
Hang on a second.
So, what's the thinking?
Well, the guy comes through the front door, and then, it's like you said.
That's from a set in the kitchen. See? It'll fit right in there.
So what's the thinking here, then, that, he's creeping around the kitchen. She comes down, surprises him, sees him, takes off. He grabs a knife, follows her out into the hall.
Yeah, but why does he drag her into the bedroom? That's the question. Well, what's he thinking? He's gonna rape her?
With the husband downstairs? Her screaming?
Yeah, that's a completely different scenario altogether. I mean, if he's stalking her, his object is rape. I don't know.
I was on the porch having a cigarette. I remember wondering if the neighbors knew they left their sprinkler on all night. Thinking about going over, turn off the water.
Anything else?
No.
Do you recall where the fire started?
I have no recollection. I read the newspapers, that's what I know. I must have gone into the fire and ended up looking like this.
Do you always smoke outside?
Yes. My wife. She didn't like smoke in the house, so I would smoke on the porch.
And about what time?
I don't remember. I get insomnia sometimes. You look vaguely familiar, do I know you?
Oh, yeah, you do, actually. Unfortunately for all concerned, Mr. Morehouse, this is not the first tragedy we've had to work through together.
I don't remember you.
Remember me? Okay, well, what about Mr. Fleming here? He was also involved.
I'm sorry, I don't remember you.
So, he doesn't remember either of us. Oh, it's pretty serious burns, though.
No?
Your male victim is Michael Freeling.
Has he got a record?
Yeah, for shoplifting, falsifying prescriptions, mischief.
Mischief? What for?
He's an ex-mental patient. I guess he went off his meds a couple of times and broke some windows.
Any record for sexual assault or trespass by night?
Nope.
Did you turn up anybody on the canvas that recognizes him?
There's a guy up the alley here, almost directly behind, who uses him to clean up his yard once or twice a year. He says a guy shows up 3 or 4 times a year looking for odd jobs.
So what? He could have come here looking for work.
Yeah, could have.
She recognizes him, invites him in, brings him into the kitchen, and tells him what work she wants done.
And he sees an opportunity to assault her, maybe?
Yeah. Can we talk to this guy that knows him?
Yeah, he's across the alley.
All right, let's go do that. All right.
Well, he confirmed his wife was afraid of heights, but he got a little riled when I asked was he having an affair.
Well, his wife's been buried a week already, right? We need something pretty definitive to go into this any further.
Yeah. You want me to pursue it?
No, I'll talk to my neighbor, and I'll tell her we checked the loot and we didn't find anything in the statement that indicated any foul play.
Yeah, well, that'll probably satisfy her.
I've been getting a lot of calls from victims' families in this missing women thing.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Oh, it's gonna go on for years.
Well, I tell you, I want to know where my daughter was buried if she was murdered. I mean, I'd hate to live in limbo.
I used to think a red light district was a radical idea. Now I think it's the only way to afford anybody any protection.
It used to be. I remember when I was a kid, I mean, you didn't see girls working outside. I mean, I guess they were in the clubs, off the street anyway. I mean, at least someone was watching their back.
Yeah, well, you can blame that one on City Hall. Sometime back in the 60s, I think the mayor got heavy on the clubs and the bawdy houses. That's when it all started, put everybody out on the street.
Hey, Suki.
Hey, Angela.
Suki, do you know Sergeant Kurtz?
No. Hi, nice to meet you.
What's going on?
Oh, you know the usual. We just took down some pimp who's wailing on one of his girls.
We were just talking about how to deal with the whole street prostitution thing in line with the murders.
It's not just here. You know, you got the same thing all over. Down in Juarez, same thing. Mexico City, all over. I mean, when you get a scene like we've got with the real marginal trade down there in the industrial area, you can attract the freaks and the predators.
Oh, better to protect some than none.
I saw him this morning about 8:30, and I told him I had a big job for him, taking out some of those brambles here. But he said he already had a job here in the neighborhood.
Did he say where he was going or who he was going to work for?
No, I didn't ask. He said he'd come by in a couple hours and give me a hand if I still needed him.
You ever tell you anything about himself?
Not much. He didn't talk much. Sometimes I'd make him lunch and he'd talk a little then. I guess he was homeless.
Did he ever mention to you that he had psychiatric problems?
Yeah, he was upfront about that. He said he had ups and downs, he called it.
Ups and downs, I get those. Did you ever see him take any medication, anything like that?
No, maybe he took something. Sometimes he'd be kind of glazy, you know. Next time I'd see him, he'd be a little hyper.
How'd he seem to you this morning?
He was a little bit more hyper than usual.
Would you say he was agitated?
No, he just was a little more speedy, I guess. Some days he'd be speedy, other days he'd be kind of slow motion.
You ever see him get mad, lose his temper, frustrated with things?
No.
Did he use your tools, or was he using his own?
He used my tools. I don't think he had much beyond what was in his pockets.
So you trusted him with your tools, huh?
Yeah, you know, he was real polite. Please and thank you.
Was your wife ever around when he was working here? Did she know?
Yeah, sometimes she was here.
Well, you say you trusted him, so let me ask you this. Would you have left your wife alone here with him?
Don't do that. You don't know what people are capable of anymore.
No, you sure don't. Do you know if there's anybody else in the neighborhood he might have been working for? Remember?
Well, the house you guys are at, across the alley.
You work for them?
He's the one who recommended him to me.
Okay. That's gonna just about do it. Thank you for your time.
So, what's going on over there?
Well, there's been an incident. It's under investigation. I'm not really at liberty to give you more than that. Thanks for your time. We'll be in touch.
Okay, so this is it here, the second set of commingled remains?
Yeah, this one here, and then another one over there.
Another one.
Yep.
So this is a third set of commingled remains right here?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, yeah. Can I ask you something? What was the procedure now? Somebody died around here. Who oversaw things?
The general hospital staff, you know, a couple of resident physicians.
Physicians. Okay, so they would record the time of death, issue death certificates, and there's records kept of all that stuff?
Well, there's some records, but they're not very complete.
Oh, they're incomplete. What about autopsies now? Are there any records of any autopsies that were performed?
Yeah, a few, but usually an autopsy was only performed when the doctor or family member requested one.
Oh, so no family, no investigation.
Right. So what they would do is take the deceased up to the Institute's morgue, register their death, take them back to the funeral home, and then eventually back up here for burial.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do? This is a crime, right? It's a crime. So that makes this area a crime scene. The whole area here, I'm shutting it down. We're taking a good, hard look. Helen.
You all right to answer a couple more questions?
Sure.
We identified the assailant as a Michael Freeling, a man who used to do odd jobs around the neighborhood here.
Yeah, I remember. That was him?
You used to employ him sometimes.
I did, that's right. A few years ago, I didn't recognize him.
Could you tell us again what he was doing the first time you saw him?
He was dragging my wife along the hall into the bedroom.
And what did you do to stop him?
I hit him on the head with my hammer.
I'm sorry, when was the last time you said you...
A couple of years ago.
Oh, so wait, see, he didn't come around the neighborhood regularly looking for work then?
No. The last time he worked for me, my wife said she was uncomfortable around him, the way he was staring at her.
Is that right? So what, you asked him not to come back, or...?
Yes.
Did you tell your neighbors how you felt about him?
No, I don't think so.
You didn't warn them?
No. I guess I should have.
Listen, we have to get downtown, and, in fact, we'd like to get you out of here, and we need to get a statement from you, so I'm thinking it'd be more comfortable downtown. What do you think?
Okay.
Look at a constable to give you a lift. Hey, Pete, excuse me. Think you could get Mr. Brooks downtown for us? Thanks.
I'm going to get another canvass started, see if we can find out who in the neighborhood he was going to go to work for this morning.
Just wanted to go over your witness statement one more time, just to see if you can remember anything else pertinent, okay?
I understand.
Okay, now you said you saw Mr. Morehouse leave his house around midnight, is that right?
About 5 minutes past.
Yeah? And what made you so sure of the time?
Well, because I had just finished watching the sports station, and that finishes at 12.
The sports?
And then I went out and had a cigarette. My daughter makes me do that in my home. Did I tell you that?
Yeah, you mentioned that.
She's convinced the fire started because Mr. Morehouse is smoking, but I know he smokes on the porch like I do.
And is that what he was doing that night then, having a cigarette?
Well, not when I was out here.
No? Well, he was doing what then exactly?
Well, I saw him leave the house and drive off.
He just drove off? He see you?
Maybe, I don't know. It's not like we talk much. I mean, they mind their business, we mind ours.
Okay.
They're good neighbors. It's horrible what happened. You know, to those two kids and their mom.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
This was pretty bad. Okay, so you saw him leave, and did you see him come back? And if you did, about what time would that have been?
No, sorry. Because after my cigarette, I went to bed. And the next thing I know, there's this big explosion. I came running out and saw that house burning up like an inferno, and I called 911.
And did you see Mr. Morehouse then?
No, I saw the fire.
Yeah.
I went back inside. I called 911. I waited on the phone for a while until the fire department came.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time. Very nice of you. We got a nice spot here. Did a nice job in your garden. Well, just a great house. You got a great spot here. You can see the whole neighborhood, right? And don't take this wrong, but you strike me as the kind of person that can watch people. You notice people come and go. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way. I like to watch. Okay, now, what do you think? What was the reason Mr. Morehouse might have had for leaving the house at that time of night? What was going on there?
I have no idea.
Really?
No.
Okay, well, I just thought it was kind of odd. Maybe you had an opinion. Anyway, thanks again.
You know, nobody spoke to him because he was coming here, to this house. George hired him.
I don't know. There's a lot of forensics evidence to support his story.
He could have changed some things around to make it work that way.
You'd have to reconstruct the scene.
Well, that's been done before. Think about this. For some reason, George decides to kill his wife. Homeless guy comes for work. Knock, knock, knock. The husband figures he can make it look like he did it.
Right, yeah, I get that, but it's not what forensics is saying. Forensics says the story sounds tight.
Well, I don't think so. I think the homeless guy was an opportunity. And the husband either said, today's the day I do what I've been thinking about doing for a long time, or it was a fit of rage. And then there's the homeless guy, knock, 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 and it's all a spontaneous thing.
You're trying to fit this guy.
Look, forget about what Chick said. Forget any of that. If you walk into a house, and you find the husband downstairs and the wife upstairs dead, who are you going to look at? Take the homeless guy out of the scene.
Okay, so we take the homeless guy out of the scene for a sec. What do we got? We go inside, we head upstairs, we find the wife, stabbed in the back, dead in the bedroom. We got the husband down in the basement, says he didn't hear a thing.
Yeah, you see? That's his original plan. He's got the saw going, he's got the earmuffs on, all of that.
And he thinks what, the homeless guy shows up, he goes, aha. Stick this guy into the story, it plays better for you.
No, he's got his intruder.
Okay. But then you throw the forensics back into it, and then none of it plays, right?
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Hey, guys. I found these work gloves in the backyard. They belong to the dead guy.
How do you know that?
The guy's initials written in felt pen there. MF. Michael Freeling. I guess he might have dropped them in the backyard. I found the gloves right there by that pile of lumber.
Yeah, good. Okay, thanks, Pete.
Right.
Okay, let's say for a minute that our homeless guy, he's already here in the backyard working. He's moving that lumber there or something.
Right, he's been hired to do yard work.
I know our husband, he's had some time to figure things out.
Yeah.
So he comes out here to the back door there and he says, hey, come out here for a minute. I need you to help me to move a dresser or something in the bedroom.
Right. So he takes the guy in up to the bedroom, shows him the scene, and he whacks him a couple times on the head.
Down he goes.
Down he goes. And then the plan is what? I'm going to call the cops, tell them I killed a homeless guy who was attacking my wife. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to look at the evidence, see what we got, what does it look like. And we change things around a bit, mix it up. If I mix it up enough, then it's going to be hard to determine what happened.
Yeah, so, okay. First thing I do, I get the homeless guy's print on the knife.
Okay.
All right, what do I have left? What's left?
Well, if the husband killed the wife, he's going to have her blood all over him.
Change my shirt.
Okay, so I take my shirt off.
Switch with the dead guy.
Yeah, but not yet. Okay, I stab the wife, right? I get her blood all over me. Now I gotta take off my shirt, clean myself up. I get washed up. I go outside. I get the homeless guy, and I bring him back in.
Oh, yeah, right. Come on in here for a minute.
Right. Okay, so I take him upstairs, show him the scene. He turns around and get him with the hammer a couple times. Now I got his blood on me.
Yeah, a little backsplash there.
Right. Okay, now he's down dead. And I take his shirt off. Take the shirt off the dead guy. I put it on me, and I take the shirt I was wearing when I stabbed my wife and put it on the dead guy. Does that sound right?
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, now I'm wearing his shirt, the dead guy's shirt. He's wearing my shirt. Yeah, then all the blood evidence fits there.
Or at the very least, it confuses us enough to put a doubt in the mind of a jury.
That plays.
Yeah, I think it plays.
So what do the neighbors say?
Well, nothing new. She just basically stuck to her first statement.
Do you have any idea when Mr. Morehouse will be released from the hospital?
Well, not really, ma'am. He's in pretty rough shape. Why?
Oh, well, I have his dog, and I have cats, and I don't know what to do.
You got his dog? You sure it's his dog?
Oh, yes. Dog showed up at my door the day after the fire. I mean, I've been looking after him, but I can't keep the dog. What should I do with him?
Well, I don't know. Pound?
Oh, no. I couldn't do that. Mr. Morehouse wouldn't like that.
Oh, kennel. I could ask Mr. Morehouse if you'd like, if you can hold on for a day or so.
Oh, all right, sure.
Oh, thanks. Now, did you see the dog the night of the fire?
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't around.
You what?
It was all ragged and dirty. Probably scared stiff of all those sirens and fire and all that. Scared
Okay. I'll check with Mr. Morehouse then, and it'll be later today. Is this your house right here?
Yes, it is, and thank you.
Well, thank you.
Do you remember what type of shirt Mr. Freeling was wearing when he came to talk to you about work?
I'm not sure.
Was it short sleeve, long sleeve?
Short sleeve. He was going to take out some bushes, and I thought he'd get himself all scratched up.
When you say a short sleeve, you mean a T-shirt?
No, one of those shirts you button up a few buttons.
Yeah, a golf shirt.
Yeah, a golf shirt.
What color?
Blue or green, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make a statement to that effect, what kind of shirt you saw him wearing. Right?
Sure.
I'll have a constable come back, you can tell him.
I'll be here.
Okay. We got him. Good job. You smelt that one from the get-go.
Thanks. Father. finally got a good night's sleep last night for a change.
You know, he's gonna want to get a lawyer right away as soon as he hears the question about that shirt.
Yeah, well, we got him anyway. We're gonna get so much DNA off of both of those shirts, and that's gotta be the husband's shirt on our dead guy.
Yeah.
Man. You know, when did you become so afraid of homeless people all of a sudden? When did that happen? You know, when I was a kid, there was guys coming around all the time asking if they could mow the lawn or clean out the garage or paint the house numbers on the curb, you know? A lot of them, they just come back from the war. They couldn't find a job, but nobody called them homeless. I mean, because they were home. You know what I mean? The whole country was their home.
Yeah. We've made poverty a crime.
Well, tell me what evidence you have of a crime being committed out there.
Evidence? Okay. We dug up 60 bodies. 60 some odd bodies. Out of the 450 you plan to disinter and move, out of those 60, we got 3 of them with commingled remains.
So in your mind, commingled remains is indicative of a crime having been committed?
Section 182. Neglect or improper interference with human remains, that's an indictable offense.
And out of that, which is not evidence, I might add, out of that obscure statute, you declare the entire disinterment a crime scene? No. No, I don't think so.
So anonymous in life, anonymous in death. You know very well that if we were talking about another cemetery here, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd be up to our elbows in a full-blown investigation, wouldn't we?
Perhaps. But getting back to the point,
Yeah.
you haven't yet explained to me the nature of the case. I mean, is there any evidence to suggest that these remains met with foul play?
Evidence? Sonny hasn't signed up anything specific yet.
Well, there you go, you see? No crime, no crime scene.
All right, then I'll let my report reflect that. Those extras hopped in there with those identified remains. Why? Because they want a company, and you'll sign off on that as soon as I write that up?
Yes, I will, and I'd like it by the end of today, please.
All right.
The victim is my neighbor, so I'm just going to hang around for the comfort factor, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
I came down to my car there because I left my lights on.
Somebody had called to tell you that.
Yeah, the concierge. Thank you. He called, said another tenant called him, so he called me.
Who was the tenant who called, did he say?
No, he might have, I don't remember.
And were your lights on?
Yeah.
Anybody on the elevator with you?
No.
How about in the garage? You see anybody down here?
No, no one.
What happened from that point?
Well, I reached into my car to turn my lights off, and I heard a door creak. So I turned halfway, and I saw just a dark, big blur, and suddenly I was being smashed into the car, my head into the roof.
Any details of the assailant you noticed?
No, just big, seemed tall. Dark clothing, a sweatshirt, the cotton kind. And then he grabbed my hair underneath at the back and pushed me into the car twice, 3 times maybe. And then he dragged me to the ground, face down to the ground.
You didn't get a look at his face during this?
No, he kept me shoved to the ground, and then he put a plastic bag over my head. I think it's over by the car still.
Did he say anything to you during any of this?
No, he just grunted.
He was sitting on you at that point?
Yeah, he twisted my arm up behind my back and pulled my underwear down with his other hand. And then he just smashed my head into the ground one more time and left. I think it was a car coming into the garage that scared him off.
What direction did he go?
Up the stairs, I think. I heard a door open and close, so... And then I called out for help, and my neighbor got out of her car and came over.
Is there anything you can remember about him? Any smell you can recall?
Yeah, he was a smoker. I could smell it on him.
Okay, cigarette smoke?
Yeah, it smelled like he just smoked a cigarette.
Did you fight back at all? Scratch him or anything?
No. I didn't have a chance. I don't think I did.
Did he attempt to penetrate you? Any sense of that?
No, he didn't have time to do anything. The car came in, so...
Okay, well, we're going to need to take you to the hospital for an examination. We'll need to have you looked at.
But he didn't get that far.
We're still going to need to take you in for evidence. There could be hair, fibers. You understand? We'll also need your clothes. An officer will bring you something from your apartment to wear.
Yeah, okay.
Just one more question. Has anybody been calling you, threatening you, anything like that?
No. I did get one phone call, hang up, the night before, but that's all. It's actually been a really scary year for me.
How's that?
Well, I have a lump removed in my breast, and now this happens. You think you'll catch this man?
Yeah, there's a good chance we will.
Okay, thanks. You've been really kind. Thank you, Sheila.
This could be the same guy who's been active in the neighborhood.
I didn't know that was happening.
He's attacked 3 times in the last 2 months. He hadn't used a plastic bag before, so maybe it's not the same guy.
Anything useful?
Well, we got some cigarette butts out of the stairwell, so it looks like somebody was waiting down there. We've got some partials on the car. Somebody was wearing gloves, smeared the surface pretty good, so I don't know what we'll get there. Maybe something in the stairwell.
Well, she said she smelled smoke on him, so chances are it's him in the stairwell.
And we have some DNA evidence from the other assaults, so we'll know pretty quick if it was him again.
Okay, well, I'll check in on her in the morning. I just live on the floor of her apartment, so...
I'm going to interview your other neighbor. Maybe she saw this guy on his way out.
Okay, great, good.
Robin Williams, Billy